Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, May 18th at about 6:40 in the morning, and I'm up on the K&P Trail with the dogs, heading north from White Lake Road. It's a glorious day, sunny with a few clouds around the edges, and 15 degrees and no wind at this point. I haven't been coming up here much on weekends due to the number of ATVs that typically come along the trail then, but I'm hoping if I get up here early enough, there won't be too many. They usually come up after 9 or 10 o'clock, so hopefully I won't see too many. This was always one of my favorite trails to walk in May, just because of the diversity of birds that you can get up here. So after about 15 minutes, I've got 26 species of birds noted. They're going up quickly, as is often the case on this trail, just because of the diversity of habitats that you pass through. So you get new birds all the time you do that. And it's very active this morning, lots of song everywhere. Beautiful morning. Little chestnut-sided warbler singing back in here. And a rose-breasted grosbeak. There we have a golden-winged warbler singing a blue-winged warbler song. They're part of a hybrid complex, but I did verify by sight that this was a golden-winged warbler just singing a blue-winged song. Well, it's about 7:20 now. We're just approaching Ball Road. And after 2.8 kilometers, we've got 44 species. And we should pick up a few more on the next stretch. So this stretch of willow thickets north of Ball Road is particularly good for golden-winged warblers. You can hear them here singing their chattery type song as opposed to the pure buzzing song. You also get lots of yellow warblers, gray catbirds, alder, possibly willow flycatcher at times. So at around 7:30, I've just hit 50 species of birds, and I've got another new one for the year, the green heron. Had a nice one fly over here, just back over the swamp area there. Okay, after over an hour and a half of walking and 5.5 kilometers of distance, we've come to the new Elbow Creek Bridge. That's probably as far as we're gonna go. Beautiful, nice to get up here early for a change. I haven't done much of that this summer for some reason, whereas I always used to do it. I think part of that is that, as I said before, on weekends ATVs get quite busy up here. So far I haven't seen one because I left early, but I suspect I'll run into a few on the way back. So to this point I've managed to accrue 61 species, which isn't too bad. So after a few minutes of rest here at the bridge, I think I will head back. That'll make for a hike of 11 kilometers, which is plenty for me right now. We got 61 species, as I mentioned. We'll see if we gather any more on the way back. Usually I add a few more, so we'll see. Well, it had to happen, I guess. 8:30 and the first ATV came by. Just making my way back to Ball Road. Still a ways from there yet, but just passing through the woods at the south end of the Elbow Creek Marsh. Okay, at 9:02, we're just south of Ball Road, and we've got 66 species of birds now. Still about 2.5 kilometers to go to get back to the car. Found this painted turtle out on the trail. As you can tell by the rear of the shell here, he's had a few run-ins with probably vehicles or maybe a predator of some sort. Really chomped away at the back of his shell here. I'm just going to take him down the trail a few feet to put him in the marsh. Make sure he doesn't get run over here because the ATVs will be starting up here anytime now. We'll get you back in a safer place. Luna's always curious when I have these guys. She wonders what's going on. So just down the trail away here, and we can put him in the marsh, and he'll hopefully survive for another number of years. Interesting how the shell has healed over time in areas and has some strange lumpy looks to it, but luckily he survived. So I'll put our turtle friend down in this marsh here. Should be a lot happier than where he was. Let's find an access point here that's not too steep. There we go. He should like this better, or she should like this better. That's the problem at this time of year. You get the turtles coming up onto the rail trails here and the snakes. And if people aren't careful, they can just run over them in big numbers. Quite amazed. We're getting close to the end of the trail and have only seen the one ATV so far. It won't be long before there's big numbers of them coming up here, I'm sure, on a day like this. That's why it's good to get up here early before most of those people get on the trail. Well, it's 9:34 and no sooner said than done. Here comes an ATV. Just think about all of the nature's glory that those folks don't notice. Just coming up to the end of the hike here at 9:40, and in the end we ended up with 68 species of birds, which I'm pretty happy with. That's a pretty good total. There are a few other species that will probably be showing up here in a few days or a week or two that you could add to this total, but that's not a bad total. And beautiful morning to get it with the dogs. Hope you enjoyed this walk up the K&P Trail.